Hey everybody, Johnny 5 Live here, and hey to all the Zerkaa fans. How's it going? This is absolutely incredible. I was sitting here editing a new update video for my future plans with Planet Coaster because I've been just going ham on the content lately and just absolutely working my butt off. I've been working on a sci-fi scene for everybody and I just want to give everybody a big update, and I just start getting comments like crazy, and people are saying Zerkaa sent me, Zerkaa sent me. So I was what's going on here? And so I go over to Zerkaa's channel, and I guess I've been living under a rock. Sorry, Zerkaa. I guess her name's Josh. I didn't know of this channel or this YouTube creator. Been living under a rock. Yeah, so he created this video, the best roller coaster ever made? ? And there's a thumbnail of my Molly coaster. And in the video,
that's right,
he goes over my coaster and another amazing park created by another Steam creator, Wonder World, created by Bastion BRs. Really cool park, really amazing stuff. So he features our parks in his recent video. He's got a whole lot of subscribers. He's a really popular YouTuber. Can't thank you enough. Can't thank your subscribers enough for coming over here. Welcome to Channel 5 Gaming, everybody. This is absolutely amazing. I'm speechless. I'm stumbling on my words. This is just crazy. I mean, I literally went up like 30 subscribers. I gained more subscribers today than I have in some months, and I've been doing YouTube for about a year now. And between Planet Coaster, I've been seeing a huge jump in Planet Coaster on my channel, and now Zerkaa's just adding to the flood. You guys are literally zerging me here. This is just great. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Josh, Zerkaa. I'm speechless. I truly am. I can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, this is truly a great day for me. I really put a smile on my face, and I'm super excited here. I've been working really hard, and I'm glad to see that somebody out there really enjoys my content, and I was just waiting for it to just catch. This is great. So thank you to everybody, and now we're gonna jump into the video that I was supposed to be editing before all this started happening. So yeah, let's jump right into that. And once again, thank you to Zerkaa. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all Zerkaa's subscribers for coming on over. And I got an update video for you guys that I just so happened to be working on before everybody raided me. So let's get into that. Hey everybody, Johnny 5 Live here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about kind of what's in the pipeline for Planet Coaster from me in my workshop creations. Alright, if you guys do like this video, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and let me know what you guys want me to do next in the comments down below. Where do I start here? I want to give you guys a rundown of where we started and where we're going and what is new coming out very shortly. I got some really cool stuff coming out. So my very first building ever was kind of inspired by this guy. I went to the shops and drops level and I noticed they had some pretty cool buildings, and there wasn't enough sci-fi stuff in the game at the time until the new patch came out with all this stuff. So I was taking these into the sandbox mode here, and I decided that I would kind of inspect their creations a little bit more. So I kind of dissected this a little bit and created this, and then I turned it into a Chief of Beef stall. Those were my first two creations. From there, I wanted to really kind of design my own things once I got a feel for what was in the sci-fi pack, and that's when I came up with Toxic Relief, a bathroom stall. That was a lot of fun, and that's actually featured on the Steam page right now. It's one of the top downloads of the week. And then I ended up making this hats helmet. I was basically going through the different shops and facilities going, how can I turn this into something cool sci-fi theme? So I got to the hats fantastic, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll make a hat of some sort. What's a futuristic hat? Well, that would be a space helmet. So I created this. It was a little bit tricky. I wasn't too impressed with the overall design. It turned out okay, but I still thought I could do better. So after creating that, I went over to Gulpy. I was like, I need to make Gulpy. And, you know, with the Gulpy there, I was looking at it and we're like, well, what is Gulpy? It's sodas, energy drinks, and Slurpees. But they have the Gulpy Rex as their mascot. It's a T-Rex. So immediately I had a thought in my head, well, I guess I'm going to have to make a T-Rex and that's when this guy came up, and that took me about 5 or 6 hours to make. It actually went pretty smoothly, all things considered. I never really made a T-Rex. I've never drawn a T-Rex. I've never, like, I like Jurassic Park and stuff, but I'm not a big dinosaur guy. But that turned out really well, and it's featured right now. Yeah, I was number 1. I was featured on the front page of Steam there. I guess this guy pulled ahead, which is really cool. It's a little too terrifying for me, I'd say. Yeah, it's right there on the front page of Steam, and Toxic Relief is also up there. So they're doing really well, and I'm really glad I'm getting good responses from people, a lot of feedback, a lot of positive comments on my stuff. So really, really awesome. So this guy turned out great. Everybody's loving him. I'm getting some requests for a Triceratops, which I may consider. But like I said, I created this in terms of I wanted to theme the Gulpy station. So it was designed essentially for the Gulpy. As you can see, he's holding the Gulpy sign there. So that was all inspired by Planet Coaster. So you can thank them for that design. But yeah, that turned out great. And then I moved on to Hot Dog Squad, and I thought, well, what can I do for this? I decided, well, why not grill some hot dogs? So I made this out of the basic shapes. This thing turned out pretty awesome. It's a hot dog factory, and they got the ketchup and mustard pumps with little ketchup rooms, mustard rooms. Yeah, so that turned out great. It feels like a futuristic factory for hot dogs. And then I just kept on rolling with this theme, and I did the same thing for Cosmic Cow. I took inspiration from Planet Coasters, or this was in Shops and Drops. I kind of drew inspiration from that and just made a bigger, better version of that. And then I made the banana, strawberry, and chocolate shake flavors, and it's all pumping milk from these barrels. And then moving on, I went to the fries. Thought, well, what can I do for this? Like, they don't really have any fry assets in the game. So I looked at this, their logos, their little signs, and they do this little cone thing with the fries popping out. So I decided to make my own fry thingy out of the basic shapes. Now, one thing I thought of after that I could have done is I could have made a big giant deep fry basket. That would have been cool. But yeah, it turned out pretty cool. It's another big factory, a different shape than the other ones. And I always try to keep, I was drawing inspiration from Planet Coaster's sci-fi stuff. They have these generators on the roof. They have, you know, the air conditioning units and these doors. So I want my themes to be cohesive with theirs so that they fit in seamlessly, because they are going to be updating these. So if you do start placing these around, you can download mine as well, and they'll just fit in seamlessly, but I put my own creative touch on them. And then we move over to the Chief of Beef, and obviously the Chief of Beef, back in Alpha and Beta, they only had Chief of Beef and Cosmic Cow. They didn't have the fries and the hot dogs. So because I did such a cool design for the Hot Dog Squad, I really had to up the ante for the Chief of Beef. So I ended up creating a bigger, badder version, drawing inspiration from my Hot Dog Squad. The grill is wider, both in depth and width. So, and then I put the big hamburger props up top, again with the mustard and ketchup, but I turned them sideways to kind of make them a little bit more daunting, a little bit more power and presence in this factory. Some big furnaces and whatnot. So this one is big and so bad. I love it. And then I saw someone did a rocket fuel coffee, and I just the name alone, they had this tiny little shop. It wasn't a rocket at all, but they called it Rocket Fuel Coffee, and that just made a light bulb go off in my head where I drink a lot of coffee, you know, coffee makes you go fast. So I thought, well, might as well make a rocket into a coffee shop. I actually created this first, and then I went and decorated it with all the coffee accessories, some smoke effects. Yeah, it turned it into Street Fox Coffee, and it's a rocket ship. This one turned out really great. I hope it gets just as popular as the T-Rex, because it is quite a powerful presence on a map, and I think it turned out really good. I was looking at the NASA rocket ships as inspiration, and it's quite similar, and it's all makes sense. Everything is proper in terms of making a rocket ship. The rocket takes these fall off the side, and then this boosts off, and then the ship comes off and it's in orbit. So yeah, it's cool. And then I was having a hard time with the drawing inspiration from the Mexalente and Tiki Chiki. I didn't want to do individual buildings for them, and I was getting a little bit burnt out by now. So I decided, okay, well, why don't I make a a greenhouse that kind of like grows their own food and produces their own food. So I made the greenhouse foods, put a nice little interior in here, which turned out really great. Fresh greens on the side. Yeah, and I just kind of combined the tiki chiki and the mexilentes into one big kind of garden facility. So everything has this futuristic theme. They're all cohesive. They fit together. They fit with the Planet Coaster stuff. And then moving on, I had the medical bay still to do and the shopping stuff. So I still have to do Just a Memento and Looney balloons, and I'm trying to think of what I can do for those. So I got some really cool stuff to show you guys here. So first, the med bay. Yeah, I put the helipad there, which I thought, like, I have to do something unique for each one of my creations. So this one was the helipad is kind of like the unique selling point, and then I added a touch of green to it and actually try to make it feel like a hospital. That's a thing. Now, as you guys know, I'm Johnny5 Alive. I picked up my nickname from Short Circuit. So if we go to my YouTube channel, here we go. So back in Fallout, I ended up, this is Johnny5 Alive for those of you who don't know. This is a robot from the movie Short Circuit, created in 1986, and that's where I got my nickname as a kid. And in this video, I end up making the Short Circuit Johnny5 Alive robot in Fallout. So, you know, Johnny5 Alive is near and dear to me, and that's where I got my nickname, so I had to create him in Fallout. So I decided I'm going to have to make him in Planet Coaster. So I started with the basic shapes, and I'm trying to block him out, get a good feel for his size. Will the pieces work? Will it, you know, is it all going to work properly? And I felt like this was the basic shape I was going to go with, and then here's the final product. So this turned out a lot better than the Fallout one, obviously, because I have a little bit more control over what's happening. Give him a little Johnny5 Alive sign. Yeah, it turned out really great. I love it. It's great. So obviously, as a Johnny5 Alive fan, I'm sure everybody's seen the WALL-E movie. WALL-E's like the baby new kids version of Johnny5. He literally has the treadmills and the same head as Johnny5 Alive. WALL-E must have drawn inspiration from this design, and they just made a cuter, more Pixar version of this robot. I decided, well, I loved WALL-E. That's my next favorite thing next to Johnny5, so I had to decide that I had to make WALL-E. And here he is. I turned him into, oh yeah, this is the Memento shop because it's memorable to me. WALL-E is my balloons shop, and this thing turned out absolutely amazing. Just the amount of work that gone into this thing is astounding, guys. You wouldn't understand. Like, this head alone, I think I got a breakdown of him over here. In order to make these little pieces, it was insane. It was absolutely insane. Like, this is made up of a bunch of little circles and stuff to get the shape of his eyes down properly. I mean, and then I had to duplicate it, change the colors. This little piece here, it's 330 pieces. And then to finish it off, it came 350 pieces just for the eyes alone. It was really crazy. In total, this whole finished piece is 855 pieces, whereas the Johnny5 Alive robot is 518. This guy took me a long time to make, just to get him autonomically correct and all that. Yeah, it was a lot of planning and looking at reference images and trying to see what pieces I had to work with that could fit. And then him, it was even more difficult because with WALL-E, he has this little trash compactor chest piece, and he puts the garbage in. I don't know where he puts it in the back or something. I don't know. And then he like crunches it up and a little cube falls out the front. I wanted to be able to fit a shop stall in, and I didn't want him to be this gigantic piece. So I really had to work with the size of the shop stall. From there, really build things up. So in order to get things to this micro size, these cylinders and stuff, I literally had to duplicate all of these because there's no cylinder that's this small and this wide. So it was a lot of pieces, and then each one of these treads individually placed. I mean, this thing was an absurd amount of work, and just getting these little details like his track on the side and putting in all the different colors, and then the back with the garbage bin thingy. It was seriously a lot of work. And then after I had to bend things into place, make sure everything looked proper, and even add these little things on the side, and then kind of give him an animated pose, tilt his head, get it all into position, get the eyes right. I even put these little bolts in. They're made out of wires. Had to hide the wires. I mean, this thing was an absurd amount of work, and then make these little balloons, that was pretty easy. But yeah, I love the way this turned out. Really happy about this. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the Johnny 5 Alive robot. Hopefully some of you are old enough to appreciate this, but for the younger crowd, I know everybody will appreciate a Wally, so had to throw that in there. I personally, I love Johnny 5 Alive, but the way this turned out and the amount of effort I put into this and how cute he is and how it actually, everything, it just looks like Wally, and it worked out perfectly considering the limitations you have with these shapes. I couldn't have asked for more, so I'm actually really proud of this piece. This took more time than the T-Rex. The T-Rex is 275 pieces. Wally is 855. So yeah, every little piece hand placed. This is definitely my proudest piece, but just looking at him from a glimpse, you're like, oh, that's cute. It's Wally. Yep. So hopefully some of you out there can appreciate how difficult this was to make, and I really hope you guys enjoy placing this into your parks, and hopefully Pixar doesn't sue me. So that's a thing. Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy the Johnny 5 Alive as well. And hopefully you guys also enjoy my med bay as a new addition, a little hospital. So moving forward, what I'm obviously doing here is I'm making a sci-fi pack. It's a pack, and it's all cohesive with the Planet Coaster stuff. Basically, you're going to be able to use Planet Coaster's buildings with my buildings, and it's all going to fit. So you'll be able to make Mars, you'll be able to do whatever you want. So moving forward, I was started thinking, like, every time you want to place a coffee shop down, you're not going to want to put a rocket ship down. Every time you want to place a Gulpy shop down, you're not going to want to put a T-Rex down. And same goes for this hats, and same with the memento and the balloons. So I'm kind of like, I did myself a disservice by making these crazy shops into giant statues. So now I kind of have to redo the coffee shop, the Gulpy shop, the memento, and the balloons. So this is what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the hats, the memento, and the balloons, just like they did here, and I'm gonna make my kind of amped up version of this. In fact, I mean, you could even just use this. I probably could just use that. I might just skip on that then. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So maybe I'll just leave it the way it is and let people use that, because it is kind of what I was thinking of doing. Yeah, so anyways, there is the fact of the Gulpy shop. This alone, I could extract it and upload this into the Steam Workshop. I might do that. But what I really want for Gulpy is something similar to this Cosmic Cow, but run with more pumping Slurpee juices and things like that. Maybe like a soda on top and a Slurpee on top, and make like a little straw and stuff like that. So I want to do a little factory for the Gulpy for sure. And then the coffee shop, I want to make a little futuristic coffee diner with, maybe I'll use some of this glass stuff as inspiration. And then I think that does it. Oh, we got to do ATM still, so I got to do a little bank or something. I got to do a big old bank, futuristic bank. Anything else I'm missing? Information stall. That's a kind of a bummer. I don't really have too many ideas for that. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments. Information booth. Something scientific. Research, some vials, maybe like a big alchemy lab of some sort. I'm gonna have to think on that one. I'm not too inspired to do an information booth because I don't really like using the priority passes anyways. And we got our restrooms, and that's it. So definitely have to do a bank next. Some sort of information booth. So maybe a chemist lab, chemistry station. I've got to remake the Gulpy station, remake the coffee shop. So I'm going to have 4 new kind of factory buildings coming out. But once all that's done, I'm going to go into a mini series. So what the mini series is going to be like this. So the Cosmic Cow, I'm going to take all the elements that makes this good and strip it down to its core components and get it as small as possible. Almost like a little bit, like just as small as the Wally, if not smaller. Kind of like this. This is a great example. And for the burger shop, it would be something similar to this, but a little bit more sci-fi. I don't like this wood and stuff in here. We're gonna do miniatures, and that way, like, if you're building a park that's sci-fi and you want a chief of beef, like, obviously you're gonna have your big, your factory district where you get all your your food and you have your food courts and some sci-fi scenery, and you're going to have your big food area. That'll be a big part of the park. But when you make a ride over here and you're doing this stuff, and you're going to go, oh, I need another little food court over here, it's going to be annoying to have to build another big giant factory district. So I want to do a mini series because it'll just be easier to plop down these little guys and make tiny food courts, miniature food courts, without having these big guys all over your park and these big T-Rexes all over your park. So the mini set will be nice for jam-packing these little food courts into these nice areas that you have monorails going to and whatnot. So that's going to be next, I think. Once I finish those 4 core facilities that I was talking about, I seem to be able to make about 3 a day, plus doing the videos, the uploading, the screenshots, and everything. And I'm like, the 3 a day is getting crazier and crazier. Like my 3 today were these guys and the med bay, and these guys were insane. Way harder to make than the T-Rex. Probably get those 3 that I want, the bank, the Gulpy, and the Street Fox coffee, and maybe the information booth done either tomorrow or the next day. I still need to write a final review on the game as well, so a lot down the pipeline, and then we're going to start on the mini series. And when I get to the mini series, just doing a mini med bay, and I take the core elements, maybe just this little thing and this thing, and build it in, it's going to go much faster. So I'll probably be able to pump out like at least 6 of those mini ones a day. But in some cases it might take longer, because you have to really think about what's the core elements that makes this great. Should I keep the ketchup pump? Should I keep the hot dog? How do I integrate that into a small unit and still make it look appealing? And what kind of things can I attach to the sides to still keep its core factory futuristic feel? And, you know, can I squeeze a back door in there, you know, an AC unit? And then does that still keep it, like, does that keep the street appeal? So I really have to dissect it and then think of the core elements, think about what's going to make it feel and look good, and play around with those elements. And once I kind of figure that out, then I can start rolling them out a little bit quicker. But each one is its own puzzle, and it's a deconstruction process. So in some ways, it might even just take as long to get these minis looking just right for you guys to download. I want to make sure everything's perfect before I release it. We're going to do a mini set for every single shop once we're done the factories for every single shop. And from there, like, I'm a little bit burnt out on the sci-fi stuff, to be honest. I wasn't even intending on doing sci-fi. I don't know what drew me to it. I just got to that level in the career mode, chops and drop, and I was like, I need to make a few things. And a few things turned into an endeavor and an extravaganza. But because of shops and drops and having a limited thing, and at the time this update wasn't out, I was inspired to make a few things, which easily just quickly led into me making this T-Rex. I've been getting a lot of popularity and growth on my channel, growth on my Steam page because of this T-Rex. So it's all worked out for a reason. I find with my creativity and my ideas, the sci-fi really allows me to push for crazy ideas. Like, I wouldn't have been able to make a burger grill or a hot dog grill or even a hot dog if I was going to be putting this in a fantasy level or a Western level, because they just don't have this technology and this craziness for me to go to that level and still make it believable. So with the factory stuff and the sci-fi stuff, I can really make things unbelievable and unreal and accentuate the radicalness of it all. I wouldn't have been able to make rocket ships if I was doing Western or fantasy. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that I can push from the sci-fi, so I really feel like just going with it. So moving on after the mini set, I'm like, oh my god, it just doesn't end, does it? Like, I still have scenery to do. So there definitely I need to do some scenery pieces. And I was also thinking about doing some stuff, because the sci-fi works so perfectly with a space, because we have the scenery and the landscape for Western, that rock, that red dirt, it works really well for a Mars type planet. I'm thinking of drawing some inspiration from the movie The Martian, and just looking at that movie and doing some maybe rovers of like that potato facility that he had, and a few of those little landing pieces, and the rocket that they did, and maybe doing some actual Martian stuff. And that could be for a park entrance, and then you come into the big, like, we've developed on Mars, and we've grown and made a civilization, and that would make for a really cool park. I think that would be amazing. There's also ride skins. So there's some really cool rides, and I'm gonna have to take a look at them, and there's some signs. Not everything is sci-fi, but this is very sci-fi. So maybe I'll make a ride skin for a few of these and just decorate the outsides. And there's some cool things that I could do with this, like just making things go through it, a rocket ship flying through some of these rides. There's a ton of ideas I'm getting just looking at some of these things. Same with this. I mean, yeah, so many cool ideas that I could come up with. So I might do a few ride skins for some select rides here. Any ones that are futuristic. Some decorations. And then I'm going to have to start building a park. And while I'm building that park, I'm going to start coming up with some ideas. So that's kind of what's in the pipeline. And then to top it off, the final thing, Reddit. I'll do a link down in the description. Reddit has a contest, and they built this coaster, and they said whoever decorates you can color the coaster, and that's it. That's the only thing you can change. And then like you have to build a park around it or build scenery around it. And whoever does the best one wins the contest. And they have a judging day, and they're going to look through all the submissions and whatnot. It's already been underway for about a week now, and I think there's 3 weeks left. So I'm considering building a sci-fi theme with all my stuff around this coaster on a Mars-like planet, and having it go through my T-Rex or under the legs of my T-Rex and making it do all this stuff. So if you're interested in that contest, I highly recommend checking it out. I'll put a link in the description. I may get around to that. And while I'm building a park around this, I might start coming up with new ideas for scenery and what have you. So eventually I'm going to hopefully get around to making a sci-fi park. But right now I'm really invested in creating sci-fi creations for you guys so that you can enjoy making sci-fi parks. But I'm really itching to get back into the game. I'm still on the shops and drops level. I still have 3 of the Planet Coaster levels to go. So I want to finish the game, write a final review, but I'm really just addicted to like creating these things for you guys because the responses I'm getting are just through the roof. The amount of downloads and comments is just, it's overwhelming, and I can't thank you guys enough. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you guys for your positive feedback. Share my channel with a friend. Help me grow a little bit. Tweet out some of my videos. Tweet out some of my stuff. Follow me on the Steam page. Follow me on Twitter and all that good stuff, because I'm gonna throw myself at this game, and this is just the beginning. You know, if you think this stuff is good, I'm constantly getting better. So stay tuned for more. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, tell your friends, and yeah, that's gonna do it for this video.